Hello and welcome back. Today we have issue 2 again of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Megazord build from Fanhome, and a update on the Megazord itself. If you've seen the previous videos, you know that when assembling the Megazord's head, I had issues with the screw ports on a couple of points, and Fanhome were good enough to send a replacement for issue 2 so that I can rebuild the head and get this screwed together. Only reason I'm really covering this rather than just doing it off camera, because I've obviously already filmed this build, you've seen it, you know what it is. And the reason I want to cover this is because I've also had an email from Fanhome regarding specifically the saber-toothed tiger. If you saw my previous video where we finished the build of the head, I had some comments on the differing yellows between the plastic and the paint. In this now, as part of my video, I noted that while I was disappointed with this, it was kind of expected given how hard it is between matching yellow paint and yellow molds. We've seen it all the time with different builds across multiple different companies. However, it appears I wasn't the only one that have had this issue, or I don't know what exactly, but either way, I had an email from Fanhome saying they were aware of the differing paints between the parts of the build, and that they were arranging for the issues of the build, which I think are 3 and 4, 8 and 9, or 6 to 9, or something like that. I can't remember the specific issues off the top of my head. However, Fanhome are ordering a second or a further run of these issues, which will fix the colour discrepancies between the build, and they will be sending these out to subscribers free of charge at some point in the future. I don't have dates for these. They didn't specify that. They just confirmed that we would be getting replacement issues with all of the parts to complete the saber-toothed tiger head with correct colouring, which I think is really, really good of them. That I can't imagine is something particularly cheap for them to have to go and redo, given this isn't just, you know, me and a couple of others, it's everyone that's been affected. So they are redoing it, they are fixing that, they are fixing it at their own cost. That is, in my opinion, really, really good of them. While there's the argument to be made that it shouldn't have been an issue right off the bat, I am glad that they are aware of the issue. I am glad that they are fixing the issue. And I think, regardless of what you think of Fanhome as a company, regardless what your issues or dealings with them are, and if you've seen my previous videos, you know that there have been issues with delays and getting shipments out on time, being fobbed off with basic letter response templates and all that. But overall, this act, you know, deserves the respect and the adulations it's due. It's going to cost Fanhome to fix this mistake, and they are working to fix it. And I commend them for that. It would have been very easy to just sort of ignore the issue, sweep it under the rug, and force collectors to continue as is. Anyway, that was just, I wanted to give an update on that. I just wanted to say my piece on the fact that we are getting replacement heads with the correct colouring. So yeah, that's really good of them. Now let's move on to the build. If you see my previous videos, I think that I did this in the very first video, where we had this part of the build and we had the pterodactyl chest plate. But we get our magazine, we get the legal contents, assembly, we get a fact file on Zordon of Eltar, we get an episode summary of episode 2, High 5, which is the Fear of Heights episode for Trini, and featured the villain or the monster of the week, Bones. Get some more episode summary, and then we get a background on the origin of Power Rangers itself. So yep, that's our magazine. This is our parts. Let's get this open and let's get this assembly done, and hopefully this will all screw together nicely this time. So what do we need? We already have most of our Megazord head assembled. It is literally just the dome itself that needs reassembly. So part wise, you get the mask, upper rim, eye protector, bases, eyes, helmet top, helmet bottoms, crests, neck plates, LED, screwdriver, and necessary screws. So let's get this down to business. Do it to it. So off the bat, we get our screws, and we have 2 sets of screws. I'm going to go quite quick on this one and get it assembled. If you're looking to see the full build itself, check out my previous videos, namely the first video I did, which looked at this as a whole, and let's double check which issue finished this. Bear with me. Okay, so if you're interested in the rest of this build, it's the first video I did, which covers issues 1 and 2, and it's the video in the playlist which covers issue 4, which will be one of the issues that Fanhome replace. So let's get this assembled. Okay. Assemble. So you need the crest, helm plate, and you need the you take take 2 of the PWB screws, and they go there and there. I'm just going to use, there's my other screwdriver I like, so let's get this down. So what are people's thoughts on Fanhome making right with the saber-toothed tiger head? There's an argument to be made that it shouldn't have been made. There was an error that shouldn't have occurred in the first place, given the price you are paying for this build. But equally, I'm willing to acknowledge that trying to get yellow paint apps to match seems to be an issue across, an industry-wide issue. It's not just Fanhome's manufacturers. It's whether you're going with, a company who produce cheap toys in the ways of like Hasbro and Mattel, or if you're going with someone who produces high-end collectibles, it seems to be an issue across the board. We'll need another PWB screw. So it is something to be aware of, that, you know, it's not a, should we say it's not an intentional error, you know, it didn't necessarily get designed that way and go, yeah, that's good enough. It was clearly a issue across the board, and Fanhome went, yep, we know it's an issue, we're going to fix it. That, in my mind, is the mark of decency, that you are willing to take ownership of your mistakes and you are willing to fix them. That, in my books, gives me a great deal of respect for Fanhome, and hopefully, you know, going forward they fixed their issues with supply and dispatch. I think we can all agree that that was an issue right off the back. I'm screwing these in the wrong way. That's what I get for talking while I'm doing this. And, you know, I will admit that was frustrating. It was incredibly annoying not knowing what was going on or having time scales for mistakes. But, you know, it was definitely a case of being fobbed off by, their customer services department. And I guess partly that was because their customer services department weren't being given the information needed from their higher ups on what the status was. So, you know, it was failings across the board, which in my opinion shouldn't have happened, but it is what it is. So, what else have we heard? In other Power Ranger news, we finally had the official reveals from Playmates on their upcoming toy line. They are obviously starting off with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers again, which we kind of knew from the announcements last year now. The toy lines, in my opinion, look fantastic. They look like really great 5-inch scale figures for kids. I must stress that enough. I've seen so many comments about, oh, why are they doing Power Rangers? It's, you know, why aren't they doing Lightning? And all those complaints. And while some of them, you know, might be valid, the fact is this toy line right off the bat has always been aimed at young children, typically in the sort of 3 to 5 range. So having toys which appeal to them is fantastic. That's great. I couldn't be happier about that. As an adult collector, I'm disappointed we're not getting more Lightning collection, or we're not getting some sort of replacement for collectors, or at least no replacements as yet. We might get one in the future. Playmates have certainly confirmed that their focus is 90% kids with a 10% look at collectors, so we could potentially expect something in the next few years, but maybe who knows. But overall, I think the 5-inch toys that are coming for kids do look fantastic. They look on par with their sort of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys, so you kind of know what you're getting. Typical sort of high-end, decent amount of articulation, but a poorer sense of paint apps. Understandable. That's a kid's line. Right, I now need to get out one of the PM screws. I'll find a PM screw now, which was one of those, I believe. Or was it one of the others? That. I believe it was that one, and one of our washers. Sorry, I just realised you can't see it on camera, but I have a small little pot where I've been keeping the excess screws and all the little excess bits and pieces to keep stored. First up, we need to hook this up. Second up. Right, I'm just going to do this bit off camera for a second. Okay, and there we are. This is definitely a lot tighter fit now, thankfully. You can see the head isn't rolling so loosely, and these move back freely but aren't coming loose. So yeah, all fixed, all done. We are now 2 heads down. Well, technically through. Well, yeah, I suppose technically through the Mastodon's head. Mostly done. It's still got the back plates to go and things, but we are getting there. Hopefully package 4 will be dispatched soon. Otherwise, until then, thank you for watching, and may the power protect you.